MWZ has one major problem. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do, guys. I thought it would be kind of interesting as well as, transparent and more personable if I literally just played the game and talked as I played and just see how it went. But I wanted to talk about MWZ. Most of you guys know I've put so many hours into this game mode. I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think it's a great game overall. And I just think it's fun. I'm a huge Zombies fan, huge Call of Duty fan, and I just love the PvE in this game mode as well as, just the idea of the way the community is. The community is fantastic in this game, and it was kind of like that in DMZ too. In this game mode, it follows suit. The biggest issue MWZ has right now is the way loot is generated, the RNG for your loot, the way loot is given out at the end of contracts when you complete contracts and things like that. Now, for some of you guys, if you guys played since launch I thought was pretty fantastic in the way loot was and the way loot dropped and how you gain loot throughout the game in general. The progression was very nice and it flowed. It made the game feel fluid and it just felt rewarding, basically. Now, I will say I gained everything fairly fast on launch. I gained everything fairly fast, and, I did put a lot of hours in, but I did gain all the schematics and things like that pretty quick. Based off of my playtime, I thought it was reasonable. And then comes Season 1. The launch of Season 1 really changed the pace of how loot was gained, and it really dropped the RNG chances and the chances of just overall loot and the way you receive it, whether that's from loot boxes, completion of contracts, rifts, whether you're in the tier 4 or 5 zone, or just any tier, really. And they really dubbed it down a lot. And it's making the game flow in such a way that the progression really isn't there. Most of my gameplays, I don't even do contracts, really. I'm just running around doing random challenges, looking at the map, or doing other things. Like, as you guys can see right now, I'm doing mercenary strongholds for calling cards, things like that. There are some schematics I still do not have. That precious, epic, rarity tool I do not have yet. Still do not have that. But I don't feel like I even want to grind for it because it doesn't seem worth it, really, in the end. Going into tier 3, toughing it out. I'm primarily solo. The way loot from contracts is gained is super slow and sluggish, really. And with a lot of new players coming into the game after the holiday and into the new year, I do feel like the progression is really pushing players away from the game and making them feel like the game isn't worth it. It's not really worth it to play. Now, it's kind of difficult because it is a lot harder to talk and play at the same time. But we're doing it. In whatever zone you're in is very slow, and it seems like they're not giving you the gear that needs you. And it seems like they're not giving you the gear to progress you to the higher. Seems like they're not giving you the gear to progress you to your higher tiers. You're in tier 1, you're expecting pack 1 perks, uncommon Aether tool, maybe rare Aether tool if you're lucky, but it seems like you never get any of that. It seems like none of this stuff is gained. And it just seems like the progression overall has just slowed down to the point to where it's like, what is the point of playing? What's the point of actually playing the game and doing the contracts and trying to do stuff in a very specific way? There's almost no point in doing it. It just seems the way the game is flowing and the way that the game just works now between launch and Season 1. They've nerfed so much stuff to oblivion. The RNG chances, it seems like, sometimes you'll log in, you're like, oh, my rewards are great, I'm doing good. Whether you need the schematics or not, I'm just talking general gear as well. I'm talking about general drops. And I remember at the beginning when the game first launched, anywhere from your first to 3 contracts, you were able to get a pack crystal, instantly. Now you got 100% save up to 5k to buy it, which is fine. But all I'm saying is the way loot is and the way loot works in this game, whether you're searching caches, whether you're doing contracts, they've dubbed it down in such a way that has caused the game to be just laggy and sluggish. Like it's just such a burden to grind through the tiers and grind up and do things, especially if you die. You're going to the higher tier zones and you die. Now you say, oh, we can do tombstoning, we can do things like that. I don't do tombstoning. I've never done it. Be my guest, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just saying for these newer players who are coming into the game, it's like the progress is really not there for them. Like, let's see what we get. Our first contract of the game. We got something good. We did get good. We did get some good stuff. For a tier 1 contract, but is it like that all the time? Not really. The loot has changed so much that drastically that it's just everything gets mixed up. It's just boggy, and it slows the game progression down, and it just slows not only progression across the board, but in your current game. You could be doing contracts, you could be doing other things, whether that's just looting caches in higher tier zones or contracts across the board. You'll be doing something, and you're not even getting anything that is beneficial to get you to those higher tier zones. You could be doing a contract in tier 1, and nothing that you get is going to benefit you to get to tier 2, and so on and so forth. So you can't actually progress the game. I do think there needs to be some sort of workaround and change, specifically when it comes to the way the loot is. And I think there's different ways they can do to change it. I'm not saying to guarantee loot in specific zones. I think they just need to bring it back to where it was come launch, or have a happy medium between launch and season 1. Because the way it was at launch, loot was just insane. Like, the way you got stuff and the way everything was, and it was good. I actually enjoyed it. But now the way it is with Season 1, they could find a perfect balance in between, and I think it would be completely workable. And it would make the game flow better for newer players, older players, and it will prevent people from wanting to do tombstoning. Now, I'm not saying tombstoning is bad. I'm just saying, gosh, that guy's gonna rip me! Oh! Yeah, no, I'm not saying tombstoning is bad, but I think most of the community is tombstoning just because of the way loot is and the way the game is. The progression. You die, everything's done. You don't want to spend X amount of games trying to get bulked up again and get beefy again just so you can take on the higher tier zones. Because once you play the game enough, you guys know this, once you play the game enough, you want to primarily stay in the tier 3 zone or go for the sigils or the legendary sigils and go into the higher tiers. That's how you want to play the game. You want to stick to the higher tier zones because it's more fun, it's fast paced, there's more zombies on screen, it's harder. I also think they need to introduce a little bit more of like world events. I think that'll kind of help with the progression and help with, you know, more of the PvE elements, having people work together, kind of like the Red Worm, but it doesn't necessarily need to be something that we activate. Like I originally thought the Abomination, the Mega Bomb, was going to be a world boss that you could kill and he would spawn over and over again. And you can just have a collective of players who are on the server go into that one area and fight them off. And you guys just work together to fight them off, and it's perfect. You know what I mean? Oh, we finally got a big backpack. Finally got a big backpack. Wow. Took ages. Took ages. Right. There's a mercenary stronghold there. And guys, I know this video is a little bit different, just me playing and talking. I might chop it up and just, you know, do some edits on it because I don't know how this is going to be. I've never done a video like this. I've never filmed YouTube at all like this. It's normally, you know, somewhat scripted, as well as, you know, edited out. But I think the naturalness of a video like this and the transparency, you guys get to see who I am. And I think it's just more personable for you guys as the viewers, the community, as well as more personable for me, the creator. It's kind of fun mixing it up and doing different kind of content. This weapon looks bad. Ass. I can even get a shot on it. This is like full-on Western. Let's go, baby. I actually want the haymaker. I'm not going to use it, but I want it. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is, guys, I love this game. I love making content for it. I love the community. You guys have been super fantastic. Going in games with you guys and just other players. It's been awesome. And making content is super, you know, this game has really revitalized me when it comes to content creation. I'm a huge zombies fan. And this kind of game, just in general, I enjoy. I enjoy the premise, the style of the gameplay. I just think there needs to be, you know, a couple tweaks with things and stuff like that. But overall, it's fantastic, you know, across the board for the most part. And I think there's a few things that hopefully with Season 1 Reloaded coming soon in a few days, or Season 2, we'll see what they're going to do. I also do think, guys, they did not expect this game mode to be as successful as it is. It's one of, if not the most successful third modes Call of Duty has ever implemented. And third mode, I'm talking about like, you know, zombies, DMZ, things like that. It's one of, if not the most successful. So I think now they're pushing more of the dev team to develop more for this mode because they know that the player base is so huge. They're going to just switch some things up because we know how COD is. Honestly, we do know how they are. They probably push the loot pools back a little bit and the RNG back a little bit because they want more players to consistently play the game, you know, because a lot of players, including me, are going to get burnt out when they collect everything, do everything. I also think a degree of change that could be with this mode that round-based zombies had is the fact that with round-based zombies, there was more zombies on screen. The zombies didn't necessarily get harder. There was just more of them. And when you think of MWZ, there aren't more zombies. The zombies are just harder to kill. So I do think when you go into the higher tier zones, it needs to be more congested and not necessarily harder to kill. Now, I do think the health pool should be a little different, kind of like how it is in round-based zombies. The health, you know, the zombies are a little harder to kill. I'm not saying not at all, but for the most part, what it was the fact that there was just more on screen, more hellhounds, more elites, more zombies overall. So that made the difficulty. It wasn't the difficulty that, oh, there's 10 zombies, instead of 100 health, we're going to give them 250. No, we're going to have 10 zombies instead of having 100 health, we're going to give them 150, but now there's going to be 35 zombies on screen, you know? So I think these changes would be fantastic. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this is completely different than what I've ever done here on YouTube. And I just want to branch out with the content because I'm honestly sick of making OP gun videos, making, you know, videos like that, because at the end of the day, you can use whatever you want. And every gun, depending on your playstyle, can be overpowered, can be workable, can be fantastic. Every gun is workable. Doing the Borealis grind, I've done every gun in the game. I'm working on Modern Warfare 2 guns, and every gun is workable in different situations, and depending on how it's kitted out, it can be workable. And it's, you know, some guns are better than others, but at the end of the day, I just like doing discussion videos, guide videos, and things like this. If you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like on it as it helps me and the channel grow, and subscribe for all things MWZ. We're going to continue making content about MWZ. We're going to be making content about a bunch of games. I'm going to just branch out and just, you know, play games that I enjoy and make content around it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys are into all that, subscribe to get into the community. I appreciate every single one of you guys, as always. And again, guys, I said it once, I said it twice, I'm going to say it again. I love MWZ. There's plenty of different ways to play the game, but I think a few changes are necessary to keep the player base happy and keep the community growing and just keep the game fun, you know? I appreciate you guys for checking out this video. And as always, guys, stay happy, stay hyped, and have a beautiful day. I can't see, nobody kill me! I can't see anything, man! That's all this game is. In your face with f***ing UI